going to take is an awful lot of hard work. So I've just used that figure. But what you can do is, if you can sort of cobble that sort of money together and go out there and come up with an idea, it's amazing how professional you can make yourself look. So you might be running it out of your friend's bedroom like Zuckerberg was, or like the two guys in Limerick were just basically a couple of laptops. But if you can spend a little bit of that money on a nice professional website, business cards. At the very start, we used hotel lobbies, so we'd meet you in the nicest hotel lobby in town. Nice, sharp suit on you, business cards and a website. You might as well have 10 people working for you, and you can start to get creative. One thing that you are going to have to do if you're involved in any sort of startup is you're going to have to stop watching stuff like this. You're going to have to start making sacrifices like watching the football, like going down for those pints on a Monday evening. If you're really serious about getting this off the ground and you've only got 10,000, that 10,000 is really not going to go very far at all. You'd be surprised how far it'll dry up. So you've got to sort of cut out all the sort of little meaningless, nice things that you like doing and really get stuck into this. Going back to the guys at the very start, like the Collisons who set up their business, they didn't see the light of day for 6 months. 6 months doesn't sound like a long time, but I've talked to Patrick about it in detail, and they were sleeping at 4 hours at a time and just getting straight back up and programming because they saw an opportunity. They had that small pool of money, and they certainly weren't watching things like the X Factor. So I guess the next thing that everybody needs is ideas, and it really annoys me. There's so many people, every single person in this room has an idea, a fantastic business idea, and it's just actually going out and acting on those ideas. Some of the best businesses in the world, like if you think of like the likes of Ryanair, if you think of the likes of Ryanair or something like that, they're not doing anything innovative. They just got flights, made them cheaper, better booking systems, etc. You don't need to have this hugely complicated, mad idea that's going to change the world. Some businesses are very, very simple. So I guess it's just all of those ideas just start very, very simply, and all of you in this room could have one of those ideas. I've just picked four very sort of distinguishable products, but at the very start they were just an idea in somebody's head and just something that you just basically get it down on a piece of paper. That's the one thing that I would say. Just sort of verbalize that or get it written down and tell somebody that this is your idea, that you want to make it happen, because it suddenly becomes a lot more real. When I first had the sort of idea to make cooking videos when I was on the boat, it just popped into my mind, and I was thinking about it for maybe a couple of months on and off and thinking about possibilities. But as soon as I actually picked up the phone and called my friend Sean, who set up the business with me, it became more real. It was like you were committed to it. And then that was the stage where it could sort of really, really take off. What you're going to have to do at this stage, I guess, now that you've sort of verbalized it and you've committed to it and it's sort of starting to become a serious idea, you might have sort of begged, steal, and borrowed to get the 10 grand or whatever it is to get you started. The biggest step is that you're going to go, apologies to any of the girls here, but you know what I'm getting at. It's everybody has the idea, but the people who actually go and do it are few and far between. It takes an awful lot to actually put yourself on the line, and it all comes down to failure. We're all absolutely scared shitless of failing in front of all our friends and family, and business is that, especially if I'm lucky enough in both my businesses to have a business partner where we can sort of share the load on each other. But it's a real big, bad, scary thing to go out and do, to say that this is my idea, I think it's going to be fantastic, and then to have people possibly come along and shoot your idea down. It takes serious balls to go out and do that, but once you do, it's massively rewarding. The hard work part, I can't begin to describe, but I'm sure Robin will tell you the exact same. You've got so little money, you've got so little resources that it's basically yourself. You become the sort of PR behind the business, you become the accountant, you do absolutely everything. And even to this day, I started the business 3 years ago, Look and Taste, and we raised 500,000 euros to fund that business. And to this day, I'm so tired in the mornings when I wake up that sometimes you nearly feel physically ill. You're so tired after sleeping for 4 hours, but you get up with a spring in your step, and you just want to go out there and absolutely kill it. So hopefully that's something that you guys will take up on as well. You've got to be creative with getting it off the ground. Like the easiest thing for people to do is to go out there and come up with an excuse. Anybody can come up with an excuse and knock your business. You say, I don't have any experience, I don't have any money. The reason I use credit cards there is it might not be the most, it might not be in everybody's sort of dream business plan, but there's creative ways that you can go out and raise that 10,000 euros. All those guys that I showed at the start had to lean on people for money to get their ideas off the ground, but the key is they absolutely believed in them, and if you have to be creative to sort of get it to that first step, to maybe get a product out there, do whatever it takes. So I just wanted to give you sort of 5 tips. There's tons of tips that people have for businesses to get them going. These are the 5 that I think are effective and that have worked for us best so far. The first one is building your brand. So luckily it's an awful lot easier to build your brand online now. The old way of doing it was if you had a new service, you could possibly go and advertise, but none of us as startups can possibly compete with big businesses coming along and paying 10 grand for a page in the Irish Times. Luckily, there's a whole suite of tools out there online that we can all use, and I'm sure you guys are only too familiar with them. This is a guy called Gary Vaynerchuk, who I don't know if any of you know, but he's basically built a 50 million euro wine business online. He sells wine online, basically, but he's become a personality. He hosts a daily wine show, and it's really nothing more than a camera like this one at the front and him sitting in front of him and talking about wine. It helps he's kind of a loud personality, but very engaging, and off the back of that, he's really built up his wine business, also using social media tools like Twitter and Facebook very effectively. But those tools are all free, they're all out there. You should definitely be using it, and if you can create a brand around your business very, very early in the day, it's quite important, and it will help you certainly pick up more business. Second tip is use free tools. That might seem quite obvious, but at the start, when especially after we raise some money, etc., we're maybe looking at expensive options or getting nice offices and computers. Everything that you need to run your business, especially if you're looking at it online, is pretty much 99% free. We use Google for absolutely everything, for documents. Don't think that you should be getting phones on account or anything like that. Just keep it absolutely as cheap as you can, even if you come into a little bit of money, because it will allow you to spend the money on something that you actually really need, like improving the product or service. Outsourcing is just obviously not very easy to do at the start when you've got no money. But when you do start to sort of generate profits and stuff, at the start I used to be terrible at this. I'd try and sort of micromanage all the different areas of the business, and I'd be trying to look after the accounts or different areas, and you try and do it all yourself to save money, but it's taken me sort of 2 or 3 years of trial and error that actually, it might seem like a lot to pay a lawyer 250